This fiddle rings all day. Hello and welcome back to FiddleUP. I am Emerald Ray, and today I'm going to teach you one of my tunes. I wrote this tune for my niece Rosamund, and it's called Rosamund. And this is one I play on stage all the time these days. I love playing this one. It's a nice sparkly one. It sounds great and gets the people going, as my grandmother used to say. So, starting off, let's talk about this tuning. So this is an open G tuning. I have my fiddle cross tuned to G, D, G, D, and if you haven't done this before, now is the time, I promise you. So G, D on the bottom, and I have my A and E strings tuned down to G and D. So I would go ahead and pause the video and put your fiddle in that tuning before we get started. I love this tuning so much. This is my G fiddle. This fiddle lives in this tuning and comes with me on the road, and I use this tuning all the time for my songs that I write and for other, just putting any tunes in it, and not just old time tunes that are already in this tuning or old Scottish tunes that are already in high bass or have already been put in there. I put a lot of tunes onto this fiddle, and I'm constantly trying to find new ways to stretch this tuning. When I use this tuning for my songwriting, for example, I don't always play things that are in G. I just use this as a different palette. I can easily get to a whole bunch of different chords that I can't get to in standard tuning, right down in first position. So it's really handy. It's a really kind of take yourself out of your comfort zone little moment there. And so we're in open G. And so it's going to be hard for me to talk about what note we're on. So I'm not going to. I hope that's okay with you. I will just try not to mention it. It's going to be a lot of G and G stuff anyway. So I'm going to start up on this top note of here, this top G, which you're going to do in the place of an A in third position. We're going to go up into third position for this tune a couple of times. So get ready. So we're going to ring out the whole fiddle and get up to that top G up there. So we're going to do a nice squishy slide. I love these. This is one of these things that's not okay in classical music, and I disagree with that completely. I use these artistically all the time. I can shift without making a sound, but it's almost like it sounds so cool most of the time when you're shifting, to give it a little glissando on the way. Like, why wouldn't you? So, I think I'm old and stuck in my ways these days, but I think the gliss adds so much to the shift. Like, why hide it? So very different perspective than most people's perspective on shifting, but I just gliss away. So we're going to do that. So when I'm getting going on this tune, I do slide up with that first finger. And then 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. And then pop back down again. So I'm doing a low 2 on the top string to kind of get some bluesiness going, and then we're going to go back to the third of the scale here. I'll do this a couple more times because if this is the first tune that you've ever done in cross tuning, you're going to be really confused. Like the sound is not going to match where their fingers are going. So I'm going to make sure that you can see my fingers. So we're back up to that. What is that? It's a D. I'm not a numbers and letters person anyway, but this, like, I try not to even think about it with cross tuning. It's just, it gets in my way of my brain, but I'll try to be a good teacher here. So let's try that one more time. So I'm trying to really use the bowing to accentuate the notes that I want to have a lot of heaviness on. So first note and a lot of slurring afterwards. Even though that's a down, up, down, that's kind of one movement in my mind. So that's da, ga, da, ga, da, 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 right? So that you're going for that kind of rhythm. Dum, ba, da, ba, dum, ba, dum, dum. Or something like that. Some variation of that. And then the next phrase is... So, you can kind of interpret that however you want. It's my tune and I don't care how you think about it. I'm trying to get down to that low G there. And so what happens with these open sympathetic tunings is I'm trying to ring the bottom. These are called sympathetic tunings because we have sympathetic strings now. We have a G and a G and a D and a D, and they're considered to be sympathetic to each other. So that if you hear sympathetic tuning, that's kind of a little bit more of a glossy technical term than cross tuning or high bass or some of the other terms that we use in fiddle music. In Scottish music, you'd call this high bass, and there's various other names for it in old time music and things like that. But I just like to call it open G. So, and high bass in Scottish music, let me rephrase that, is technically open A. But I like to play those tunes in this tuning instead. I just find that this tuning is better for my fiddle and better for my voice as well. So I play high bass tunes that are supposed to be an A in this tuning, and it's fine. It really doesn't matter. It's exactly the same thing. Unless you're playing with somebody who's accompanying you, which you may not need to when you have all of these open strings going. The point is to kind of accompany yourself. Then you don't have to worry about all that stuff. So you don't have to worry about what note you're on. Who cares about that? So where are we really? But anyway, so I'm really trying to ring those two bottom open strings the whole time. I'm trying to get them warm. So I try to give them a big ring in the beginning. I'll play that in tune for you. That'd be nice. So not exactly like that, but you get the idea. I'm trying to get them going and keep them going. That is the goal. So when you're playing this tune really fast, you don't need to do it quite as often as I just did, but you could if you wanted to. So it just has to make sense musically. It has to sound good, right? Let's play what we have so far. And I'm doing a little slide on that top second finger there. But just a little baby one, just nothing too much, just a little hint of it. Okay, so here we are. Next phrase. Sorry about that. I just kind of did some work on my pegs and now it's a little unhappy. So, sorry. There we go. that top again. I love doing this. It's so much fun playing around with that fourth in the middle, which is not something that is done a whole bunch with this tuning, and I don't understand why. That's why I wrote this tune. I wrote this tune purely to have a tune where I could do that in there. There's so few tunes that do that. I mean, it's just so wild and primal and cool and ancient sounding. So we can do those parallel fourths together. So what I'm doing is I'm playing around with a little barred double stop. Bar meaning I'm putting the first and second finger and over the two middle strings together. So that's open 1 2. And I'm just putting a little trill in there just to give it a little something. So from the phrase before. So that last little piece is. So if anyone's getting mad at me right now for not playing any single strings so that you can hear the melody on its own, there are no single strings. This tune is all double stops. This is how most old-time tunes are. This tune doesn't work unless you do it all together. So that's why. So let's play those two phrases together. One more time. Okay, let's try the whole A part together. Okay, let's try that one more time. So if you're noticing there being any extra stuff, extra notes, I'm finding myself throwing in extra stuff that I wouldn't do if I was fast because it's slow and there's extra room. So if you are playing this tune at this speed for some reason, if you decide to groove it out and do it really slow, then feel free to add some extra stuff, but you won't have time to do all that when it gets faster unless you want to really pack stuff in. So let's try it a little faster to see what's actually possible at full speed. 2, 3. So that bow pattern is what I usually do when I'm up to full whack there. So that's. So it's 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1. So it adds a nice kind of contrapuntal, if you want to be all technical about it, all music theory about it. It adds this really nice kind of rhythmic counterpoint. So when you got the pulse going, and that creates kind of a polyrhythmic effect, which is very common in old time music. They do a lot of stuff with sort of African polyrhythms. So that's what's going on there. So let's try that again fast. 2, 3. This fiddle rings all day. I love this fiddle so much. This is a 160-year-old French fiddle, which is a total Frankenstein monster. You know, it's like if you can hear a rattle, it's because this seam is coming unglued. This thing is just been through the wars, but it's wonderful. And as you can see, it's a little bit petite, a little bit skinny, but it sounds so deep and dark. And this is why this is my G fiddle. This fiddle sounds so great in this tuning. So, and just ring for days, So let's try the B part. The B part is really the pièce de résistance of this tune, like the really. Now we're gonna get really gutsy. The first part was really sparkly, and this is the gutsy part here. So. So I'm taking my second finger and slide, like milking. I'm milking that slide. So I'm trying to go from the flat, you know, what would be the natural, you know, up into the bluesy third there, the natural third, natural minor third to the bluesy one. I'm not getting all the way up to the major third there. Don't go all the way up, I promise. You want to kind of play in the minor to whatever's in the middle and stop there. So let's try that again. So I'm doing the minor third on that D string there, low D string, and then I'm doing the major third with my third finger. And if you watch the Ann Lacey's video, I did this too. This is kind of a little bit of a cheat. It's a little bit of a cheat, but it saves me from having to slide through that. If I slid through, it would sound like this. Which is a cool sound, but I actually want the articulation of the two notes. So I'm going to use my third finger in that major third spot. I hope that all makes sense. I hope that helps. So if you can see the difference between those two sounds, this is what it sounds like. You see that, how it's not slid? It's got those two distinct notes in there. Day, da, 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 day, da, 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 da. Okay, so continuing on, we're going to do that a couple of times. How many times? So 3 times, and at the end, we're going to do what I just did, this really weird chromatic thing. It sounds so weird slow, but it makes sense when it's going fast. Sounds like a horror movie. So there goes my rattle. Sorry, my fiddles. Got a big hole in it. Ooh, it sounds like there's a rattlesnake hitting in there. But there is none. Some old-time fiddle players put a rattlesnake tail in their fiddle, and that's good luck and to keep the devil away and all that. So it sounds like I have a rattlesnake rattling away in my fiddle. But I don't. So let's try that again. All right, should we try that again? that G on the bottom, I am being very deliberate about when I hit that G. I'm trying to create a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that kind of thing. Okay, so you'll be happy to know that is it. That's the whole B part. It's not rocket science. It's just one of my weird tunes. So here we go. We're going to try that, but 4 times. Okay, so that's it. That's the whole B part. And then you would go back into the A part. Or I like to do this sparkly harmonic-y thing, which I'll show you in a second. But I want to make sure we're done with this B part first. So this B part, as you can see, I'm really getting into all kinds of complexity with the bowing there. And honestly, I would say the less you think about it, the better. Like, try to get into the movement of all of that and really practice it and play around with it. And all of this stuff will just start coming out. Like, a lot of these double stops that I'm grabbing that are kind of popping out that seem on purpose actually aren't. Like, the more I allow my bow to be free to do its thing, the more all this magic just comes out. So this is a lot less on purpose than it looks like. And you know, when you're getting into improvising the bowing there, all this just cool stuff just comes out. And that's the beauty of one of these open tunings, is you can be really super lazy and sloppy with your bow, and it just sounds better and better and better as you go. So I would just say liberate yourself and don't overthink it if you can. Overthinking is my specialty, but try not to overthink it, and all of this cool stuff will come out. So let's do this whole tune slow now. Let's do it nice and slow. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So as you can hear in that B part, I'm sometimes not being super accurate with it on purpose. I'm kind of letting it be a little bit wild, and that's okay. That's the wildness is what we're going for. That's what makes it fiddle music. Okay, let's try it fast, because I want to show you something that I like to do with this tune after, a little vampy thing. So let's try it fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I almost went into the vampy thing. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. And there we have it. That is the whole thing. And so I created a little vamp that uses some top double harmonic at the top, which is one of my signature moves. It's something that I do probably too much, but I just love it. It's really fun to do. So I have this little vamp that I put in between. I start the tune set off with this, I play the tune once and then I put that little vamp in the middle and then I end with it also. So it kind of gets it going. And it's a real kind of just crowd pleaser, sparkly, tra-la-la kind of moment, but I really like it and the audience really likes it too. And it's one of those things when you're playing for a bunch of especially non-fiddle people, they go, oh wow, that's cool and pizzazzy, and I like it somehow. So but this is something that if you're playing this tune and need to keep it straight for some reason, if you want to play it for a dance or something like that, then cut this part off. But if you want to play it, I would be so happy to hear somebody else play it. So here we go. The vampy part goes like this. So I'm just playing around with that rolly third in the middle. And I'm deliberately making that sound nasty on the bottom, just like, yeah, we're getting right in there. There we go. So I'm hitting bottom, top, 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 bottom, top, 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 bottom, top, 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 bottom, top, top, top. So down on the bottom, getting into some of those kind of syncopated rhythms there. So what is a double harmonic and why do we do it? Because it sounds fun and cool. So I'm doing a harmonic, but with both strings. So I have my pinky finger over, fourth finger over both. Now this takes a little bit of practice and it takes a little bit of a different finger position. If you're used to attacking just one string, you might actually have your finger here. I actually slide it up, so my finger is almost a little bit parallel to my bridge actually, because it has to be. So do you see that? My hand is in a little bit of a different position for this. I'm kind of coming at it from underneath the string. And I'm not holding it there. I'm bouncing it. So I'm only putting it down to get it going, and then I'm releasing the string so the harmonic can do its thing, and it will keep ringing if you let go of it. It will actually ring longer if you let go of it than if you keep your finger down. So that's why we do that. And because I'm catching some of the bottoms, I'm catching some of the open string as well, and it kind of adds to the complexity of the rhythm. So all of that is good. So that 3 times. And then doing that again. So we have that to start. Sparkle. Roll through. And then to end. So just putting a little bit of a different ending, because you should really only do something 3 times before you change it up. So 1, 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That's a triplet rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I can't count and play the fiddle at the same time. Who thought I could do that? So again, don't worry about the numbers too much if it's too confusing. It's too confusing for me. So that is all of that. So I'll play you a really quick version of this sparkly thing into the tune, and then that'll be that. There we are. That is all for today. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you play this one. I hope we can play it together sometime. And I will see you next time.